All right, sorry about that. We, of course, had to have some technical difficulties coming back. Our first time going back to doing the live video, but looks like we are up and running again, and we are right where I wanted you to go, which is the Friend of the Court website. So you can see here it's on the Genesee County website. You can find Friend of the Court under Government, and then go to courts, and then friend of the court. Or as I pointed out earlier, you can always just go to our website, which going there directly is much easier. www.gc, the number 4 me.com/FOC. So once you get to the Friend of the Court website, so a whole bunch of useful information here. We have gone over how to use our website before, but the online forms is what we're going to try to go over today. And we've got a lot of forms available, and that is constantly growing. So feel free to always check to make sure whether we have the form available on our website. Reminder that we have done videos on how to do a uniform child support order and how to do a uniform child support order deviation addendum. But what we're going to talk about today are what are called our pro per packets. So this is what, like I said before, talked to our great customer service staff, and they said, what's the most, asked them, what's the most commonly requested form? And they said it is our motion packets. So these are packets with a form called a motion that's going to be a way of asking the court to do something. So it's a way of filing something formal, asking court to do something. And today we're going to specifically be talking about the motion regarding child support, because we know that that is one of the most commonly used forms, the motion regarding child support. So when are you going to use this form? You're going to use the motion regarding child support whenever you are requesting the court, a judge or a referee, to take a look at your support order, and you think that the court should change what the support order is, meaning you think that it should either go up or down from what it's currently looking at. Now, one thing that I want to point out when we talk about the motion regarding child support is there's actually two ways for you to be able to go ask the court to look at your child support. The first is the motion regarding child support packet, which we're looking at right here. And we're going to go over this one today. A lot of details there that we're going to walk through together, but here's what the form looks like. This is for you to file something with the court and have the court take a look at your support order, meaning you're going to go in front of a judge or a referee. But there's also the modification review request. So this is for you to ask the friend of the court to go ahead and take a look at your order. So this can be done anytime any of these situations are going on. So here's a list of the reasons why that might happen. You don't have to pay anything for the modification review request. You'll fill out this paperwork, then we'll ask the other party to fill out some paperwork outlining what's going on with their income situation and what's going on with medical insurance and those sorts of things for the minor child. We'll go through all that, and then we'll send out a recommendation to both parties. I'm not going to go over how to fill out this form today, but I just want to make sure that everybody knows that you've got a couple of options. You've got the modification request, or you have the ability to go and file something with the court, which is what we're going to do here. So as I said, these are the motion regarding child support packet. This is the whole packet right here. And so it does have instructions. So if you're watching this video and you happen to have one of these available, you can kind of go through these instructions, because that's what we're going to do together. We're going to go through these instructions together. So first and foremost, when we talked about the mod packet, remember this is the mod packet that you can send to the friend of the court. This is a motion, which means it needs to get filed with the Circuit Court Records, the clerk's office, which is on the second floor of the Genesee County Courthouse. That's 900 South Saginaw Street, downtown Flint, Michigan. If you're familiar with Flint, it's the big courthouse with the cannons out front. The friend of the court is in the other courthouse, the one that used to be the old Montgomery Wards, where straight across the street from Paul's Pipe Shop and the Cork and the Ferrisville building. So if you're going to file the motion packet, you're going to need to file that at the clerk's office, big courthouse, Cannons out front. So there is a filing fee associated with filing a motion, which is different than filling out the modification packet, which can be done for free. But if you are going to go the motion route, there could be a cost associated with it. There is a waiver form if you can't pay the cost to file a motion. There is a waiver form. That form is also available on our website, and we can probably cover how to do that one later. All right, so we're going to go jump right into the form. I just flew past a bunch of instructions there because we're going to fill this out together. So starting right here at the top, if you're filing this in Genesee County, we are the 7th Judicial Circuit, and that's in Genesee County. Now up here is going to be your case number. Any court document you have should have a case number at the top. So if you've been to court before, you're going to have a court case number to put in here. Normally it's going to start with a year or the last 2 digits of a year. So you might have something like 2014, and then it's going to have 6 numbers after that. So I'm just going to make some numbers up here: 321, 123, okay? And then it's going to end with either DM, DO, DS, DP, DZ, something along those lines. Another common one, DC. So that's the case suffix. I'm going to jump over real quick over to Uniform Child Support Order, and right here is another video that we've done before, Uniform Child Support Order, and right here up at the top you can see where your case number would be. So if you have your Uniform Child Support Order, which is going to be really important as you go through this, make sure that you can go and get that same case number right here up at the top. So here we're going to put in plaintiff's name and defendant's name. So going to go John Smith. I'm not going to go to all the effort of putting in fake addresses and telephone numbers, but make sure you fill out the address and telephone numbers when you're filling out this form. Important that these addresses are good addresses because they will become your legal address. If this is the most recent address put on a document, that's where formal filings are going to be sent to. Important to have your telephone number because the court might be contacting you to let you know whether this hearing is going to be via Zoom or whether it's going to be in person, or if they don't have important documentation that they need to move forward, they're going to reach out to you. So make sure you put both there. Again, who's plaintiff, who's defendant, that's going to go and be on whatever your last order that we're going to be referring back to. Here's that Uniform Child Support Order again. It has the plaintiff's name and the defendant's name. So you're going to be able to know who's plaintiff, who's defendant by going there. Right here, there's a little checkbox that says, who's the moving party? The moving party is the person who's filling out this paperwork. So, could be the plaintiff, could be the defendant, could be either person. And this is the box that you're going to check saying that you're the person who is actually filling out the motion. So well, let's pretend that John Smith is filling out the motion. So over here, you're always going to fill out either under 1 here, you're either going to fill out A or B. There was an order already, or there's currently no order regarding support. More often than not, you're going to be selecting A if you're going to be filling out this motion, because more often than not, you're modifying or changing a support order that's already out there. So on such and such date, or judgment or order was entered regarding support. Where are we going to get this information from? We're going to get this information from, again, I'm back at the Uniform Child Support Order, and I'm looking at this one, and I'm going to get this information if I scroll all the way down to the bottom and I look at the last page. When did the judge sign and date that order? That's going to be the date that I'm going to put in this box. So whatever the last child support order is that addressed child support, I'm going to put that in here. So I'm going to go with 3/7/2015. That's the last time an order was entered regarding support. Okay. And then down here, we're going to put in how much whichever party was ordered to pay. So I'm going to say that the defendant was ordered to pay $150 each month in that last order. Where would I find that information? Let's go back to the Uniform Child Support Order again. I'm going to go back to the Uniform Child Support Order. Again, I'm going back to this grid here. If you're not familiar with the Uniform Child Support Order, make sure to check out our video on YouTube and on Facebook that goes over how to do a Uniform Child Support Order. And I'm going to get the child support amount by looking at this grid right here. So I'm going to have the child support amount. I'm going to have the child care amount right here. If there's any premium adjustments, that means that a parent is providing for health insurance, and there might be health insurance offset to their support. Ordinary medical is going to be pretty much required in every single order. It's for basic needs. And a benefit credit would be if there was some sort of Social Security dependent benefit, and that might result in a credit. But this is where I'm going to get all of that information that I'm going to need to go back to fill out this form. So I'm going to say it was $150 a month was in this base support over here. And I'm going to say that there was no child care because child care is pretty uncommon. But I'm going to say that the defendant was ordered to pay health care of $30 each month. And again, flipping back over to the Uniform Child Support Order, that would be something that I would find right here. So you can see what that might look like. If I'm going back and looking at my Uniform Child Support Order, I would be pulling those numbers from here. All right, back to the motion. So now I've got what the last order was. And now I'm going to be going and saying that conditions have changed as follows. So you've got a couple of different options here. You could say 5 or 6 as far as which ones you could fill out. You could fill out 5 or 6. Conditions regarding support have changed. And then we're going to attach a sheet explaining what has changed. Or 6, the other party and I have agreed to support as follows. So if it's 6, you could use this form to get into court, but if you're in Genesee County and you and the other party have agreed to support, there's no reason for you to need to file a motion. You can always contact the Genesee County friend of the court, and a caseworker here will help you fill out that order and get it to the judge free of charge. No reason for you to have to file a motion. So because that's the case here in Genesee County, we're going to go with 5. Conditions regarding support have changed as follows. So you're going to want to have a separate page where you're going to go over all the things that have changed and all the necessary facts outlining what's changed since this order was entered back in March of 2015. Remember, we're going off of, there was this order that was entered in March of 2015. These were the amounts, and that things have changed since then. If you're not really sure where to go to look at this sort of relevant information, what might be relevant, go down here at the bottom and you'll see that there's always on State Court Administrative Office forms, there's always statutes at the bottom and court rules. So you can go look up these statutes and they will probably help guide you as you try to fill this out. So for example, for this one, this is the section that was highlighted there at the bottom. A party may also file a motion to modify support. Upon motion of a party, the court may only modify a child support order upon finding a substantial change in circumstances, including but not limited to health care coverage being newly available to a party and a change in the support level under 17.5a. Well, of course, then you're going to need to jump around to 17.5a, which we're not going to do today, but what I can tell you is that 17.5a outlines a bunch of different reasons why child support might need to be modified. But mostly comes down to child support is based on the income of both parents and the overnights that the minor children spend with both parents. So what we're going to be looking at here is, has there been a change in any of those factors since the last time that the court entered an order? So if we're saying, hey, it's been 7 years since the last time the court entered an order regarding child support, it's very likely that we've had a change in what the needs of the child are, or in the income of either of the parties. So that's the sort of information that you might want to put on your additional page. Jumping over 6, because like I said, we've if you've got 6 present, then you're just gonna want to reach out to the Genesee County Friend of the Court there. And then 7, I asked the court to order that support be paid as follows. So this is where, again, attaching a separate sheet where you will outline why you or what you want the court to order. If you're not really sure what to do there, you can always go to the My Child Support website, and the My Child Support website is going to be able to give you the public calculator, where you'll be able to plug in some basic income information for you and the other party, and the overnights that both of you are exercising with the minor child. And you can also put in healthcare information, insurance costs, those sorts of things, and you'll be able to get a pretty good idea of what support might come out to if you were to calculate support pursuant to the guidelines. But again, if you guys have reached an agreement, you can always come into the Friend of the Court to work that out. You're going to want to date and sign. Again, this is the moving party signature. And that's the person who's filling out this motion, okay? And then there's going to be steps here about filling out the notice of hearing. In Genesee County, you're going to get that notice of hearing filled out when you file this paperwork with the clerk's office. They'll assign which judge or referee is going to hear the motion. They're going to tell you what date, they're going to tell you what time, and they're going to tell you the location. Right now, most of these hearings are being held via Zoom, so you're likely to get Zoom written in as your location, and then a separate piece of paper would be provided with you with the Zoom ID for the referee or judge that you're going in front of. You'd be able to call in or use Zoom video more than likely that way. Or you could be getting a location like 3rd floor or 5th floor of the Circuit Courthouse, or 1st floor of the Circuit Courthouse, or 2nd floor of the McCree Courthouse, which is where the Friend of the Court is located. So you could have a lot of different locations that could come up there. And then you are also going to have the cert of mailing, which is going to be a requirement anytime that a motion is being filed. The other party needs to be served with that motion so they have an opportunity to respond and have an opportunity to be aware of the hearing so that they can show up as well and say their side of the story. That is required anytime there's going to be a motion. I'm going to scroll up to the top here. You'll notice that right here at the top it says original is going to go to the court. That's the first version. Then you're going to have the first copy going to the other party, second copy keep for yourself, third copy to go to the Friend of the Court, fourth copy is going to be your proof of service, because you're going to need to, after you get this all filled out, have a proof of service, this certificate of mailing filled out, and have it served on the other party. And then the fifth copy is also proof of service for yourself. So you'll note you're going to need a lot of copies of this motion in order to get it filed. You're not going to be able to just take the one copy and take it to the court. You're going to need to make several copies, and when you take that to the court, you're going to need a lot of copies. So make sure you have all those copies. When it comes to proof of service, one of the things that does come up from time to time is in a situation where the address for the other party might be confidential, where you don't know the address because it's been marked confidential in the system. If that happens, you can bring that motion after it's been filed. You can bring that motion to the Friend of the Court, and we will be able to serve it by mail to the party with the confidential address. Something we do all the time. So something that you'll be able to do if there is a confidential address. don't worry, you'll be able to let us know that you would like that form mailed to that party, to their confidential address, and we'll be happy to do that. Just come to our front counter and we'll take care of that for you. There is this new form that's attached to every motion, and this is one of the new things that's coming out because of the MyFile, which is e-filing that's coming across the state. This is a way for us, the court, to get some additional telephone and email information for you so that you can get served via email as well as served by paper, because you're still required to be served by paper, but there are new court rules coming out that have come out that say everyone's also required to serve each other by email, because emails are incredibly common these days. So make sure that you can get you fill this out so that you can say where you can receive emails. You can also indicate where the court can contact you by telephone, and whether that phone number can receive text messages or voice messages. Really helpful to have all of this filled out, because then the court can reach you whenever there's been something that changed on your case. Once you go and fill all this stuff out, and then you get your notice of hearing date in front of a judge or a referee, then you'll have your motion hearing date. So real quick, we'll want to go over just some of the details about motion hearings. And what's going to happen is that motion hearings are not the time for you to have your big, full, long trial. So a lot of times the families who show up to a motion hearing, they think that they are going to be able to present all their evidence, and they're going to be able to go over everything that's happened on the case. But that's not really the purpose of a motion hearing. Motion hearing is to kind of get an idea of what the issue is on the case, and then for the court to determine whether that there are enough issues that this needs to be set for another date down the road. So don't worry if you show up and you just kind of get to talk for 10-15 minutes and then the court doesn't resolve the issue right then and there. That's okay. They're going to set, very likely, more often than not, you're going to get the matter set for another date where you get to have more time with the judge or referee to actually hear what needs to happen on the case. If you're able to get the issue resolved that day, maybe you will be able to get that resolved, which a lot of families do, because most cases do result in an agreement between the parties. Most cases, especially as it relates to child support, don't go to full-blown trials. They usually end up being something that the parents are able to talk to each other and work out. So as a quick recap, you can use the motion regarding child support anytime you want to change the child support on your case. You also could use this modification review request. Anytime there's been a change in circumstances, you can also use that through our office. Going to be key for you to be able to pull up your last known uniform child supporter. If you don't have a copy of that, reach out to the friend of the court. We'll be happy to provide you with one. And this is going to have a lot of the information you're going to need for filling out this motion packet, and also just a lot of information about your case. So important that you know how to do that. And remember that you can get this and all sorts of other forms right here on the Genesee County Friend of the Court website, but just by clicking on forms, and then you'll be able to find all of these other forms here. We will be doing some more forms. Hopefully we'll solve our little snag there with our technology problem we had earlier. Thanks for hanging out with us and working through those little tech issues that we've had here, and we will work on making those better for you next time, and we will continue to offer videos that we hope are relevant for the families we serve here in Genesee County. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to the Genesee County Friend of the Court, and you can also message us here on Facebook. And as always, Genesee County Friend of the Court is here to serve. Thank you.